Yo, welcome to Pennies2plenty, man. We have another special guest. Introduce yourself, man.
Shit, my name is Sachery. I'm a professional fighter. I'm 7-0 with 4 knockouts and born and raised in Stockton, California.
Hell yeah. So tell us a little bit more about yourself, man. About your childhood growing up. How was that?
Shit, I don't know, I had the best of both worlds, cause I have two families, you feel me? So I have one family, like, we like came up rough. And then the other family was like, it was cool. It was like middle, you feel me? So, I just, I just had the best of both worlds. It made me like mentally grow like even faster. Cause even when I was a youngin', like I used to talk to people and they'd be like, "Damn, like how old are you?" And I'd be telling like, "Shit, I'm 15 or I'm 16." They're like, "Damn, like you like hella older." Yeah. So it was good. It made me see the world. At a different angle. Both sides.
So let's talk about any of your struggles, man. Do you feel like you had any struggles growing up? You said you had two families, right? But
Yeah.
do you feel like you faced any adversity at a young age?
Shit, it was just later on in my career, like, I'll get more comfortable, telling, my personal life. But, of course, I'll just give you the gist of it. It just, like, my first family, I had it rough, like, it was just, it was way different. The love was different, the attention was different. So it just, basically, like, I didn't have a lot, in that family, and I was basically neglected because, they call it like being a bastard child. How I was raised. You feel me? That's how I was born. But I was always looked at, the outsider, and I was always like not cared for, like as their own son or their full son. You feel me?
Do you feel like looking back at that now, does that strive you for more, right? You feel like
Yeah.
Speaking of boxing, right? You going into the ring and you like, damn, I gotta make everything count now. Like, man, fuck this shit. You grew up with the struggles, right? But when you get in that ring, do you feel like you bring some of that heat with you every fight, or is that something that like?
To be honest, it's embedded in me. You feel me? Like, I know how it feels to be in the bottom. So I don't really give a fuck if I even go back to the bottom. You feel me? I'm always just bubble up. Grow back up and just restart. You feel me? But yeah, it made me into who I am now. Like back then, I didn't have shit. I grew up rough. I had like just dirty clothes and shit. So I used to like get picked on. You feel me? Like people used to try to pick on me.
Yeah.
And I don't like talking back and shit, and I don't go that back and forth shit. So I always talk with my hands. That's why like even now like in interviews, I don't like talking. I'm like, shit, you just gonna have to see and find out, on fight day. You feel me? Like, I'm always like that. But, yeah, it made me who I am. I used to fight a lot, in school. And that's how I got my respect,
Yeah.
I fought, I spoke with my hands. You feel me? Like, somebody was tripping, I handled him.
Yeah.
And then that's it,
When you got into the fighting, right? You get into fights at the school. Like, when did you actually get into boxing? Picking up the technique and learning how to actually pick up the skill set, though.
It was when I was in 8th grade, cause my pops, he used to train my cousin that used to he used to be a top fighter like in Stockton. His name was David Martinez.
Mm-hmm.
And he even reached, he was even a pro as well. Even, was in the USA team with Andre Ward. They still know each other. You feel me? They still talk. But yeah, it's just my dad, he taught him how to fight, so he already had experience, But when my cousin stopped boxing completely, that's when my dad stopped coaching.
Yeah.
But it was when I was in 8th grade, and he said that you need to know how to protect yourself, a little bit better.
Yeah.
So he took me to the garage, some of the basics, like just 1, 2, how to throw a jab and shit. And after that, I was just like, man, like I was just in the garage, like constantly, even without him noticing, and I even came to him and was like, look, like I want to be a boxer. At first he didn't want me to be a boxer because he knew it took a lot. You know, in boxing, you have to suffer a lot. You feel me? So it just that's what he wanted me to direct. He wanted to direct me to a different path where I didn't have to suffer or go through all this. You know.
And you use that word suffer, right?
Yeah.
Like, your dad is showing you, telling you beforehand, this is what you're going to have to go through. But you didn't understand what that word, when he meant by suffering meant. You know what I mean? But now you do.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that, you have to suffer through, going through boxing that you know now that you didn't know when your dad told you the first time?
Like now, like the weight cuts, man.
Yeah.
The weight cuts be fun. That'd be crucial. So even just being disciplined to know what you gotta do, you feel me? Like to make sacrifices. Basically like not go out, going drinking and shit, or just even be in the wrong crowd, because you already know at the end of the day you got sparring the next day, or you got fight, so you have to suffer just losing that weight and constantly just working out, constantly beating your body up. So basically prepping yourself to get stronger for that fight day. You know what I mean?
But in a world so enticing though, right? You feel what I'm saying? All these different things are coming at you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's almost like as soon as you step outside, it's pressure to go drinks, pressure to want to go party. You know what I mean? Pressure to go do these things that you can't do, but your friends is doing. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How do you remain to stay disciplined? You know what I mean? And stay tunnel vision through that all. You feel what I'm saying? And be willing to go through that sacrifice to get where you want to be.
Cause what molded me into that was my dad. Like, he was on my ass. Like, you need to be in the gym.
Yeah.
You need to be, after school, you come right to the gym, and it's an everyday thing. Like, he didn't really give me any leeways, So, he was constantly on me with that. And then just going through that, it becomes like a habit, doing the same things over and over again. So, that gave me that mentality. It's like, I gotta put all this shit to the side, because at the end of the day, I gotta fight. I'm the only person who's getting in here and, that's throwing hands with somebody. So it's either I go in, like I go practice, do what I gotta do and make it easy for me for the fight, or I go bullshit. And then when that fight day comes, like I get, beat up, or I get fucked up and shit. And the only person who to answer for is myself, So yeah.
So now that you're getting into fighting, right? You're training, you're sparring. Your dad has implanted the mentality, into you, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was your first fight, like, amateur?
On my first fight in amateurs, like I was training for a full year.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't fight. I didn't have no local fights, or they just put me in like a tournament, the Adidas tournament, or the LA, and I got down. Like, I won that first, my first tournament, like on my first fight.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was cool. Like even when I won that, I knew there's more, to come. So
that kind of like gave you your confidence right there. Like, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to be doing for Shirley.
Yeah, because like even now, like even if I get a win, sure, it's cool. At the end of the day, it's like I got a goal. You feel me? And until that goal happens, then my job ain't done.
Yeah, and you said your record was what again, brother?
I'm 7-0 with 4 knockouts.
7-0, damn. So you ain't even touched the L. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You going crazy that bad. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at what point, right? Because there's fighters who take losses in their career, right? What type of things have you had to adjust to? I mean, obviously you're 7-0, right? So you in that capacity, you can't speak on like losing a match, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what are some of the things that like you had to you know what I mean? I guess the adversities that, arise when it comes to boxing. There's some things that you might have to get adjusted to, you know what I mean? Fighting an opponent. Have you taken any of your other opponents? Like, you see an opponent and they might have been tough, right? Did you take any of their skill sets? You get what I'm saying? Anything that you added to your repertoire in your bag? You feel what I'm saying? Like, damn, like, even though I beat bro, he fought really good. You feel what I'm saying? Shit like that.
Yeah, cause, when I started off with just, like we had a killer team. Like we had just straight dogs. just national champions, even like a pro fighter, you know, where I started at, and it was a private gym, so it wasn't like people just started up going there. You feel me? Everybody had experience, and I was the only new kid, and the youngest one going in there. You know, and some lions. You know, you see the mentality was basically eat or get eaten. You know, and that's how it was. You know, sure, you know, I had a few bad days of sparring, but shit is boxing, anything can happen, you know, but it gave me that drive, and it made me advance more faster, you know? So, that's why I don't really care who they put in front of me. You feel me? Like, I just let my dad take care of that, and I just let everybody take care of that, and they just bring it to my attention. I'm like, all right, it's good. You know, I already know what I gotta do.
Yeah.
But me being like, I'm really big on my religion. I'm Christian. So, you know, it's just my Lord and Savior, and, you know, Jesus Christ. I just give like all my words to him, you know, and I even like just pray to him, like, you know, just any direction that you know, you put me on, or any opportunities you put in front of me, that's what I got to do.
Yeah,
one of my favorite quotes.
One of my favorite quotes, you know what I mean, from the Bible is Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I was reading this book, and Dre has the book as well. It's called The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. It applies a lot of, you know, faith through the book. You get what I'm saying? And it told you to start saying, you know, when that Philippians 4:13 saying goes, you know, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. But you should start saying, I believe I can do all things, you know what I mean, through Christ who strengthens me. So that way, subconsciously, you know what I mean, you know Christ is with you, and also knowing that you can do anything. You feel what I'm saying? Like, for real, that's literally, I feel like the mentality people should have, you know, especially when you're walking with God. You feel what I'm saying? I feel like half the time I can walk through a room of lions, bro. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I feel like I can be untouched because I know that God got my side no matter what. You know, he's right here with me. In this room right now, there's another quote, you know what I mean? 4 or more, 3 or more gather in my name, I am in the midst. You feel what I'm saying? So I like to believe, you know, God's in this room right now speaking to us. Even having us have this interview with you know what I mean, is a reason to it. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm glad that you even brought him into the center of the conversation. Like, that says a lot about you, brother. For real. But let me ask you this. What are some of the testimonies you can share that God has, you know, given you in life? You feel what I'm saying? Outside of boxing, it could be boxing, whatever. Any testimonies?
Just when my testimonies when I hit rock bottom, you know, in life, you know, you're always going to go through adversity. You know, it doesn't matter if it's, you know, a sport or work or just anything in life, you know. And, you know, when I got through those adversity, I wouldn't went through it if it wasn't for God, you know. And my testimony is when I was gonna turn pro when I turned 18, and then right when I turned 18, COVID happened, and then all like physical sports, like they stopped it. All contact sports, they just put a pause on everything. So everything was really slow. It basically took me like, I was still in the gym, going in and out for about like 3 years straight. And then after that, I found out, you know, I was gonna have a baby. So that's when, you know, my mindset, I just changed. It was like, okay, well, you know, now I gotta be a father. Now I gotta have some income coming in, you know? So I took a break from boxing for a whole year, and then I was working on warehouse jobs, you know, but it led me to depression, where I was going the wrong route, you know, and basically made me feel that I lost my purpose, you know, like I was lost. But for some reason, it was just, even when I was working at that job or just anywhere, like in town, everyone was always coming up to me like, man, like, when you gonna have your pro debut? Or, oh, you Zachary Sand? Like, like, man, we ain't gonna fight, you know? So it was always like, brought it to my attention. Like, basically, like, just God was speaking to me through people, you know? And so just one time I was just like, man, like, I'm gonna just go to church and I'm gonna talk to him, you know? So I went to church and I really prayed about it. And I asked him, I said, well, if this is the path that you want me on, use me as a vessel to speak your word, you know, to bless others as well, you know, through your word. And that's, that's my path right now.
Yeah.
It may seem like you get a lot, the stronger spiritual you get, you're going to get a lot of things that's like, it's a coincidence,
Yeah.
You may feel like, whoa, like, where'd you get that from? Or, oh, like, but it's actually God speaking to you through people and through situations,
Do you feel like as you grow in your faith, right, the test gets stronger?
Yes, of course. Even right now, in my situation right now, I ain't gonna speak about it, but but it's just like, God doesn't put anything in front of you if He knows that it's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
It's just, basically that saying, what doesn't kill you make you stronger.
Yeah.
And I feel like where even in my personal experience, like there's been tests given to me, where I had to overcome. And once I did overcome those, and then there was another test.
Yeah.
That was even much harder.
Yeah.
And I like overcame that. And then it just keeps on building you like stronger and stronger.
Yeah, and you notice if you would have missed the step before, you wouldn't be prepared for the fifth step.
Yeah.
It's like if you skip step 1, step 3, you needed step 1 for step 3. You feel what I'm saying?
For real.
But now that's how it works, brother, for real, for real. And real quick, you said that you had kids, right, as well?
Yeah.
Man, that's cool. So you a boy, girl, or what?
I have a daughter.
Oh, a daughter?
She about to turn 4 in 2 weeks.
Okay.
But yeah, that's why I have that name back in my shorts, Aura.
Okay.
That's my daughter's name.
That's hard, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I can only wonder, like, even when she gets older, but even now, like, how she views that. You feel what I'm saying? My dad got me on the back shorts, but even everybody else. I mean, she's 4 years old. Obviously, she wouldn't be thinking about that, right? But she could watch your film, or even when you get big and, you get these bigger fights and she gets older, she's like, oh, my dad got me on my back shorts. He always had me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's dope, bro. For real, for real. Man, being a girl dad at four, how's that, bro? You know what I mean? Yeah. I got a daughter myself, so my daughter, she's sensitive, brother.
Yeah. I mean, it makes you look at life a different way. I ain't gonna lie. Like, it makes you respect women more.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you understand women more. And only that, now you're looking at the lens through your parents' eyes. Mm-hmm. And now you're understanding why they made the decisions that they made, even if it's for your best interest,
Yeah.
You understand it, and it makes you respect your parents more,
It's like, life is like perspective. You get what I'm saying? Like you said, when we were younger, we kind of, what? Dad thinking this? Well, I don't know why you acted like this. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm right. But parents already been through this. And now you get a turn to be your parent. You get what I'm saying? And it's just, life is trippy like that, bro. I think about it all the time. But that's why it pays to just pay attention when you're younger. That's a bright kid if you could just listen to your parents when you're younger. You get what I'm saying? Because you have created that link that, okay, they're not gonna steer me wrong. You know what I mean? And that's important, even in a father-daughter relationship, or just a relationship in general with your parents. You feel me?
Because I was that knucklehead. I was that, like they'll tell me like what was gonna happen, and I'm like, man, they just bullshitting, and I go on, and then it happens. I'm like damn.
Before.
Yeah. So like, I mean, as I got older and had a kid, it made me more mature, and it made me like, I'm not gonna put my hand in the fire and keep on getting burnt, you feel me? So it made me learn,
Yeah, no, I feel you.
Mentally stronger.
Let's kind of talk about what made you decide to turn pro. When did you make that decision, and why?
It's just, after going to church and just speaking with God, like just telling him like, if there's a path for me, you use me as a vessel, to speak your word for people and to bless others. And not only that, like I didn't want my daughter knowing that her father gave up on something, And I spent all these years in amateurs, you feel me? And I didn't want her knowing that her father stopped midway or, gave up. I want her to know that I at least tried, Yeah. So that's 7-0 now, man.
Going into your first your pro fight, walking in that ring, what did you feel like? What did Sachery Sam feel like?
At first, like I felt regular. Like the whole time I was in the back room, I was like, yeah, like it's just regular, and like you feel like amateurs, you know. But then right when I got in there, like once the bell rang, boom, my adrenaline just shot up, boom, like because it been like 4 years since I didn't have a fight at all.
Oh damn.
So yeah, just once that bell rang, my adrenaline shot up, boom, and then I was just like. I was getting on him. Not only that, I was shaking him. You know, like even the ref, like he was saying, like if you would have threw just even a few more punches, he would have stopped it. But I let him go because my adrenaline was so high that it was getting me tired. You feel me? So I was like, I was rocking him, and I was like, shit, I heard him, so I'm gonna take a breather, let him walk around, you know, take a little break.
I feel you.
Yeah.
You said, you know, you weren't fighting that whole, you know, the 2020 because of the COVID thing, but you just said that 4 years, it was a time period until you went into the pros. So that's 4 years from amateurs to the pros.
Yeah.
What was the preparation like? You know what I mean? Like during that time period, because obviously you said there was some discouragement and stuff like that, right? Mentally, you know, you didn't want to let your daughter know that you're giving up. Also too, you still have to fight at that level. You know what I'm saying? So how did you keep your body in shape? You know what I mean? Did you do that the whole time as you're going through it, or what?
Man,
like mentally?
It was like hell. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you know, taking that long break, I thought I was just gonna get in there and be like, you know, be like tomorrow, like, you know, but everything was off. My time was off, my reaction, and I had to get that back.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not, you can't get that back if you're just working out in the gym, you feel me? If you're doing weights or even just trying to get strong. Because it's a whole different thing because your body has muscle memory. You feel me? So even if you're strong in the gym and then you go into the boxing gym and you try to fight, everything's gonna be off.
Yeah.
Your time's gonna be off. Like your body's not gonna react. It's not gonna be in line with your mind. You know? Cause like your mind, it knows like what you can do and knows what you done. You know?
So going into that pro fight, right? That first pro fight after 4 years, obviously you got training up to that, when you first heard about you getting your opponent, right? Now you start training. Yeah. But this is pro. This not amateurs, right? Like you just said. The fighting style is different, but you still came out on top. You feel what I'm saying? This is the thing. Like that shit is remarkable to me, right? Yeah. And you're not even, bro probably was been training all the way through. You get him still fighting and you still won. Like that's remarkable in itself. But bro, like what level did you have to go to bring it out? Was it easy or was it like, you know what I mean? Or did you have to struggle a little bit to get that win or what?
No, it was just natural. Like, you know, I started up with just the top of the top, you know, so I already knew like what I gotta put my body through in my mind, you know, like just basically just do the same thing what I've been doing, you know. So and even when I did come back and everything was off, I knew I had to stay in the boxing gym and get that back, you know. Yeah. So once I got it back, then I was like, okay, that's all she wrote, you know. Now, like, I'm back to it. Because that's that muscle memory. It's weird because, like, your mind and your body, it's like, it has two different brains. You feel me? Like, you can put your mind, you can push your body because your body can feel like you're giving up. But if you push yourself, then your body will be like, all right, well, then let's take off. Like, you know, and then you get that second win, what they call it. You feel me? So,
that's interesting. So are you saying the mind is stronger than the body or the body is stronger than the mind?
The mind is stronger than the body.
Definitely. Yeah. Interesting. And then real quick. So we, our first introduction into me and Sachery Sam, right, was at the, G1 Promotions. I think it was Stockton, Civic Memorial Center. That's when, we actually got introduced to you. You know what I'm saying? I was up there up and close with the camera, and that's when I got you beating the brakes off this dude in the corner, bro. I had to put them saxophones on because that's how I felt in that moment. I'm like, damn, bro, going crazy right now. Yeah. You were telling us off camera, like, some of the fuel, you know what I mean? Like, how you were feeling, you know what I mean? During that. But can you tell the viewers, like, you know, what you were feeling during that fight?
Yeah, it's just, like, I was lightweight irritated because it's just, he was just, like, during fight day, he kept on looking at me. And I was like, I was looking at him back too, and then he just kept on eyeing me. I'm like, boy, I'm about to whoop your ass. Like, you know, like, you don't know me, you feel me? But, you know, he was about to find out. And I didn't even care. I didn't even care if I got the stoppage or anything. I just wanted to beat his ass.
Yeah, you had something to prove. You wanted to feel you.
Yeah.
That's like that, when you were telling me earlier, right? These traits don't go away as you get older. They only like develop even more, right? So earlier you were saying how when you, started off fighting in school, right? It was like, man, I just had something to prove to these dudes. You feel what I'm saying? Like for real. Like you know what I mean? Like, that's how I got my respect. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's almost the same way when bro's staring at you intensely like that. Like, I'm supposed to back down? Nah, you gonna give me my respect, bro. You feel what I'm saying? This is who I am, Yeah. And, brother, you put the beating on that man on my soul. That shit was crazy. I'm not trying to put brother down, but you had him, bro, for real. So now let's talk about like, life outside of boxing. You feel what I'm saying? Like, what do you enjoy doing when you are not at the gym?
Man, I be grubbing.
Yeah.
I be shit, eating everywhere, you know. But, what activities I do I love hiking, enjoying nature, not only that, I like going to gun range. And, right now I'm trying to get in with tactical training,
Okay.
cause, that was just an interest that always been there for me,
Yeah.
I was always into guns, and not only that, just always like seeing like just like Navy SEALs and stuff like that. You feel me? So I wanted to learn a new skill, and I wanted to learn that.
No, that's dope. We had Max Griffin on, right? And he was showing me some of the knife defense, right? And I thought that shit was hella cool. You know what I mean? Like, even I had Berhalio on. You know what I mean? He was showing me some of Braulio on. He was showing me some of his fighting techniques. And I'm like, damn, like I really like this shit. You know what I mean? To a degree, like I'll be looking at you, bro. I'm like, I damn near feel like I could be just like bro and be a fighter. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. It's interesting to me, so I can see why you picking up the gun and learning like those different techniques, especially with a gun, because I know that shit is probably thrilling. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's dope.
I'm a pyro man.
Yeah.
So just anything that blows up or shit, I'm on that.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Yeah.
So earlier you said you got a fight coming up. Besides that, what's the goal for this year? This calendar year.
This year, man. Big news coming up, man. Very, very, very soon. But I gotta keep it on hush mode until then. You feel me? But to keep updated, just my social media, just look on my Instagram, and eventually, I'll post it when it's the time. But just right now, I gotta keep it on the low until it gets done.
No, I feel what you're saying.
That's right.
What message do you have for the people who've been supporting you since day one?
I can see it. I see it. It's not unnoticeable. And that, cause I know I hit the bottom, I hit the bottom before, and, you gotta work yourself, back up. So I know who's actually there and who's actually not. But even people that do came, I do love your support as well. But I'm just saying that it's not unnoticed, and I always have you guys in the back of my head, and I'm gonna make things right. Yeah, big things coming, especially to the city.
Yeah, that's crazy. I see it in you, man.
Yeah,
so you got that dog in you for sure. Another question: what do you want boxing fans to remember when they hear the name Sachery Sam?
Shit, I mean, one of the best, one of the greatest. I wanna put a big stamp, in the sport of boxing. I just wanna just basically, as I say, just go off in the sunset, without this, cause I don't see myself being a coach. Of course, I'll teach, my loved ones and, my family or just anybody who do ask me, but yeah, I always had that soldier mentality, I always took orders and get shit done, and I was never like a teacher, but, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to be one of the greatest. And
nah, that's crazy. So I want to ask another question too, because we forgot this question. What would you say your fighting style is? Because for a lot of people that don't know you that may watch this, they may be like, damn, how does he fight? Like, what's his style? What do you say your style is?
My style is
specialty or
specialty. What I love doing, I love fighting mid range because I'm fast enough to clip you. Like I want, I'm fast too to even throw combinations. Once you open up, boom, use the drop. You know, that's what I love seeing. Like I seen you crumble. You feel me?
Yeah.
And I love giving angles and maneuvering, even freezing you, throwing combination, and then boom, swing to the side. It like basically makes you feel like Matrix type shit. You know, it feels cool. You know, yeah. And I could also, like if they want to bang it out too, shit, I'll bang it out too. Like it just depends on the moment. That's why I always say like just adapt in your, situation.
Yeah. Do you feel like this is a crazy question? Do you feel like the more shit talk they talk, you going in with like, I'm finna knock his ass out? Because sometimes you might get figured out they're not shit talking like crazy. You be like, I'm gonna beat his ass still, but I ain't gonna just try to like obliterate his ass.
Yeah, it's just me. I'm a cool guy. Like I'm cool. I'm chill. You feel me? Like I know at the end of the day I gotta get the job done. You feel me? But it's once they start doing too much, and when I get irritated, I'm like, bro, I'm about to whoop your ass. Like I ain't playing. Like you feel me? Like, and then it does show into my fighting. I get more like that killer mode in me. You feel me? Like, yeah, like I want to get them.
If you can give 3 things to the youth, wisdom-wise, right? Life experience, just for life in total, you know what I mean? Whatever. 3 things, wisdom-wise, to the youth, what would you give?
I'll let them know, like, just follow your dreams. Follow your dreams and shoot for the stars, man. It may seem like unordinary or impossible to other people, about your dreams, but dreams do come true. They really do. And there's gonna be times, when you're following that dream, there's gonna come times where there's obstacles, there's hills, there's things gonna be in the way. But just stay focused and continuously keep on building, because you gotta look at it as a long run. Not everything's gonna get handed to you. You have to put in the work, and eventually that time will come.
But we just want to say we appreciate you, brother. Is there anything else that you want to say on the podcast before we close it up?
I want to say just thank you for everybody's love and everybody's support. You feel me? Like, your love does not go unnoticed. I always think of y'all. And that, I want to thank my pops, for giving me a better life. And also want to thank my team, and just everybody, without y'all and without God, I wouldn't be in this position right now. So I want to thank everybody.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. And y'all heard it first from Sachery Sam. Tune in on Pennies2plenty. And we up out of here, man. Deuces.
Yeah. Deuces.